I'm Bob C. I'm running for Congress for Colorado District 4, and I approve this message. I'm Bob C., and I'm running for the privilege of representing CD4 in Congress. I'm the band director at Lamar High School in Lamar. I have served as the building rep for our local chapter of the National Education Association. I was on the board of directors for the National Attention Deficit Disorder Association, where we advocated for children and adults who have ADHD and other needs. I've been published in the Huffington Post, About.com, and in other places, and I've gotten some attention for that. I've done a lot of work, but I've never held an elected office. Compare that to people who have been elected to Congress, but since then haven't done a whole lot of work. Being a political outsider is not necessarily a bad thing. In a Congress where 51% of the members are millionaires, I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I know how it feels to be really sick and not have health insurance and not have the money to pay for it. I know what it's like to be unemployed and alone. I have been there. I think about those points in my life when I get a campaign contribution and the person puts their job down as unemployed. That is an incredibly humbling feeling, to know that someone in that situation is trusting me to help them. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to our campaign. A lot of people have volunteered their time, knowledge, and skills to this effort. For me to continue to fight for you and our causes, I still need your help. You make this campaign possible. But more importantly, you encourage us to go on. You are letting us know, letting me know that we are not alone. You are not alone if you believe that health care should be a right and not a privilege. You are not alone when you believe that a woman has a right to make her own personal and private medical decisions. Government has no business telling a woman how to live her life. This is 2016. Why are we even still having this conversation? You are not alone when you tell oil companies that homeowners and communities should have the right to say no when someone wants to put an oil well in their backyard. For too long, those of us who disagree have been locked out of the conversations that affect our lives. We have been told to be quiet and to accept the fact that we live in a deeply conservative district. We have been ignored and treated as if we don't even exist. It is time for us to speak. It is time for us to be heard. Our current representative, Ken Buck, doesn't want to hear us. In fact, he doesn't want to hear anyone who disagrees with what he has to say. Ken Buck doesn't want to hear that climate change is a real problem, even though anyone with a thermometer and a piece of graph paper can tell that it is. Ken Buck doesn't want to hear about gun safety, even though 30,000 people die each year from gun-related deaths. We need common sense laws and technology that would make it more difficult for people who would harm themselves or others to accomplish that. Ken Buck doesn't want to hear about campaign finance reform. He believes that corporations are people. He believes that money is speech. But if money is speech, then only people who have money will be allowed to speak. We are facing serious problems, but some of the solutions seem pretty obvious. We can save Social Security by raising the cap on Social Security contributions. We can reduce poverty and lower the number of people who need food stamps just to survive by requiring employers to pay a living wage. You can't really call it minimum wage if it doesn't meet the minimum of what it costs to live in a community. We need a realistic living wage structure that works for workers and for small business owners. We don't need to be subsidizing Walmart's payroll with taxpayer money. We can become more competitive in a global market by making it easier for our qualified students to go to college. We need engineers and doctors and teachers and other professionals, but we are losing those people because they can't afford to pay tuition. It is time for America to get back to the business of investing in people. It is time for America to get back to the business of investing in young Americans. We can preserve the environment without sacrificing our economy by investing in alternative fuels. How many blacksmiths do you know? Was there some sudden mass extinction event that only targeted blacksmiths? No. Those men went to work building the cars that replaced the services of a blacksmith. They didn't lose their job to a changing economy. They transitioned from an antiquated technology to a new one. We must do the same. We can have religious freedom if we stop using religion as an excuse for small-minded bigotry and start using our various faiths as a way to help one another. I've heard people say that people like me just want free stuff. That is not true. That would be the Tea Party. Nothing is for free. What we want is to be able to say how the money we pay in taxes is spent. Our country has invested a lot of taxpayer money in corporations. We choose to invest in people.
This election is a battle of ideas. And in a battle of ideas, we win because our ideas work. History shows they work. And CD4 needs these ideas. We need health care. We need economic development. We need public schools. These are things Ken doesn't want to talk about. And we are not alone. We are not alone. The rest of the state needs the same thing. The rest of this country needs the same things. And that's what I want you to remember about tonight. You are not alone, and your voice matters.